Tom Lehrer dies at 97. Ampere singular, voice in musical. Satire leaves the stage. Tom Lehrer, the celebrated musical satirist, mathematician, and composer behind many of the most biting comedic songs of the 20th century, has died at the age of 97. He passed away on the 26th of July at his home in Cambridge, Massachusetts, as confirmed by his longtime friend, David Herder. The cause of death has not been disclosed. Lehrer became a household name in the 1952nd and 1962nd for his clever piano-accompanied songs that often walk the fine line between humor and uncomfortable truth. With titles like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park and The Vatican Rag, his music targeted the absurdities of politics, religion, and American culture with a wit that remains sharp even decades later. He performed most often alone, seated at the piano with a mischievous grin and a delivery that made even the darkest lyrics land with charm. One of his most famous remarks about his worldview: always predict the worst, and you'll be hailed as a prophet. As someone who first discovered Lehrer through a grainy old recording of The Elements being shared in a high school science class, I remember thinking, how could something this smart, silly, and strangely educational exist? It wasn't just funny, it was liberating. Lehrer gave me permission to laugh at the serious, to poke at the pompous, and to never take power too seriously. His influence extended far beyond his own generation. Composer Randy Newman has acknowledged Lehrer as a major influence, and actor Daniel Radcliffe once called Lehrer his hero. Radcliffe even performed the Elements song, which lists every known chemical element to the tune of Gilbert and Sullivan's Major General's song on The Graham Norton Show. That performance later caught the attention of Weird Al Yankovic, who said it played a role in his decision to cast Radcliffe in his biopic. Born on the 9th of April 1928, Lehrer was a math prodigy who graduated from Harvard University at just 19 years old. He began writing songs for fun while pursuing a master's degree in mathematics and teaching at Harvard. Following a stint in the U.S. Army, Lehrer moved into live performance and released records like Songs by Tom Lehrer, which included commentary on everything from nuclear war to campus politics. He received a Grammy nomination in 1960 for Best Comedy Performance Musical. But soon after, he stepped away from performing and returned to teaching. From 1963 to 1965, he contributed weekly songs to NBC's topical comedy show, That Was the Week That Was, the U.S. version of a successful British series. His satirical tracks from the show, including Who's Next and The Vatican Rag, were later compiled in the album That Was the Year That Was, which reached number 18 on the Billboard 200 chart. Lehrer also contributed music to the BBC's The Frost Report, and later in the 1972nd to the PBS educational series, The Electric Company. Around that time, his work reached a new audience through The Dr. Demento Show, a nationally syndicated radio program that specialized in offbeat and novelty songs. By the late 1972nd, Lehrer had mostly retired from the public stage, dedicating his time to academia. He occasionally performed for his students during musical theater classes, blending math and music in ways few others could. Over his long teaching career, he held positions at MIT, Harvard Wellesley, and the University of California, Santa Cruz, where he remained until his retirement in 2001. Among his best-known songs is 1959's The Elements, a rapid-fire recitation of all known chemical elements at the time, 102-inch total, set to the melody of a well-known operetta. It remains a favorite among science enthusiasts and comedy fans alike. What I always found remarkable was that Lehrer didn't just make fun. He made fun with precision. His songs weren't throwaway punchlines. They were mini-essays, often more insightful than the editorials they lampooned. And maybe that's why even now people still share his work, perform his songs, and smile at a voice that was quite frankly one of a kind. Tom Lehrer may have left the stage, but his impact endures, not just in the lyrics he wrote, but in the many creative voices he helped inspire. His blend of intellect, satire, and melody created a genre all his own, one that still feels as relevant as ever.
Hẹn gặp lại. Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh. Hẹn gặp lại. Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh.